You love God. How do you love God? By loving everything in the universe. By reconciling yourself with the whole universe. You start with the mineral kingdom. And you want to see if there's anything in the mineral kingdom that you dislike. When did you kick your car last? Anything in the mineral kingdom. Remember, everything is God. God is not a person. Next, you go to the vegetable kingdom. And you consider whether there's anything in the vegetable kingdom that you dislike. Poison ivy, turnips, anything. For everything in the vegetable kingdom is God. And you have to reconcile yourself with that. It doesn't mean that you have to like turnips or poison ivy, but you're not to dislike it either. You're to be neutral. Poison ivy has a purpose. You may not understand it, but there's a valid reason for everything. Everything has its place. Once you've reconciled yourself with the mineral kingdom and the vegetable kingdom, you can go higher to the animal kingdom. And that's a tricky one. For animals, it's just a notch away from humans. When I speak of the animal kingdom, I'm referring to bugs, insects, everything. It becomes very touchy if you're a meat eater. Perhaps you've never seen what the animals go through before they're slaughtered. You have to reconcile yourself with the animal kingdom. Then you go to the human kingdom. And you consider if you're still carrying old hurts around. Somebody has hurt you, and you resent them. You think about these things and you see that it was all karmic to begin with. No one has ever hurt me. Whatever has happened in my life has been right. And you send thoughts of love and peace to every human being. You forgive everyone. You also forgive yourself for all the things you have done. When you're able to do this, you have come up very high. For you have freed yourself from the consequences of karma. I know some of you say that I keep talking about karma a lot of times. Yet you have to realize that karma is going to exist for you as a reality as long as you believe you are the body, mind, and doer. And most of you believe this, even if you say you don't. If you want to see what I mean, think back from the moment you got out of bed this morning. What did you react to? What made you feel hurt? What didn't you like? Who offended you? When someone cut in front of you with their car, did you curse at them? This shows you that you still believe you're a body. We've got to stop using intellect and stop imagining that we are not the body. You are the body-mind as long as you are reacting to life. That's why I say you have to have humility and faith. It becomes hard for you, you pray to God. This is basic. You can pray to God and say, Lord, I can't stop reacting to situations. Intervene for me. Remove all these things that have been keeping me back from going further on the path. Give me the strength to overcome what I have to overcome. If you pray like this and you have faith, what you call God will always come to your rescue. I've been with you for quite a while now, with most of you. I am not a teacher that goes around the country lecturing. When you hear of somebody who comes along that you haven't heard of in years, you become enthralled and you say, I want to go see that teacher. And the teacher can tell you all the good stuff, because you're not going to see him again until next year. He can tell you, don't worry about anything, you are absolute reality, you are pure consciousness, you are pure intelligence, total awareness, Satchitananda Brahman. That's what you are. Goodbye, I'll see you next year. And that's great. But when you're at satsang with a teacher who sees you all the time, we get right to the nitty-gritty. We get into areas where it hurts. For if I tell you all these good things all the time and you keep coming back, you'll start complaining to me that nothing is happening in your life. This is not a belief system. We're not to believe anything. We're to take action and make it happen. And the action is faith and prayer, developing compassion, humility, understanding deep in the recesses of our heart that we are absolute reality. We are consciousness. Yet we still have to do plenty of work to get rid of the concept of the body-mind phenomenon. If you know you've got some bad habits, a lot of anger, resentment inside of you, you can pray to God to get rid of it. And your prayers will be answered. That's where faith comes in. When you pray to God, have faith that it will be answered. But never pray for things. Always pray that God's will be done. God's will is always good will. At the same time of your prayer, surrender everything. That's when you can surrender your body and your mind and your so-called karma and your bad attitudes. Give it all to God. I met many people in my travels who were bhaktas, and they told me, I had such devotion and love for God for so many years. I never read a book on Advaita Vedanta, but all of a sudden I began to ask myself, who am I? Who is this I who has all this devotion? Is the I separate from myself? And I came to the realization that all of this time I've been praying to the one self, to one reality. But this came to me only because of my devotion, my faith. Isn't this better than reading books about these things? Reading dry knowledge and then becoming a part of the talking school where you meet with your friends and you talk and 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 talk about Advaita Vedanta and self-consciousness. What a waste of energy. You simply have to make up your mind what you really want. Do you want dry intellectual knowledge? Or do you want to awaken to yourself? If you want to awaken to yourself, You've got to do something about it from where you are right now. And that doesn't mean you have to start affirming, I am absolute reality. You rather have to start negating all of the stuff that is holding you in its grips. All of those things like a bad temper, doubts, anger, you have to begin by getting rid of those things and surrendering them to God. Only then will Advaita Vedanta come by itself. But you have to do it. I realize some of you do not like to hear these things. For you're saying to yourself, prayer, I gave that up a long time ago. Yes, but where are you now? What have you gained? Have you become free? You probably have more problems now also than you ever had before. And even if you do not have any problems, you are still attached to the world. And you go up and down with the stock market, up and down with the way the world is from day to day. If you hear something good, you're happy. If you hear something sad, you become miserable. You're stuck in Maya. This is what you have to work on. This is what you have to do. You have your work before you. Let's see how many of you can begin to do it. Please feel free to ask questions.
Robert, when you say pray, how do you pray? You gave bits and pieces of the Bible, thy will be done.
That's what happens when you come in late. You missed it. We talked about it. You simply pray like this. Lord, there is nothing I desire, there is nothing I need, there is nothing I want except your grace. Teach me the way. Love me. Lead me. I surrender to you my body, my problems,